Hi, Greg Marsello here, Senior Vice President for the Learning Resources Network. My responsibilities there are handling a lot of LERN's contract training subject matter information, as well as being accountable for the sales that we do. I've been presenting at the Contract Training Conference, and this year one of the topics that I was asked to cover is taking a look at LERN Benchmarks. So what are the numbers in contract training that people should know? So I thought I'd share what I consider some of the top ones that if I were reviewing or working with a program that I would expect them to understand and be able to provide me. First one is operating margin. Operating margin is when you take a look at the total revenue you generate and you subtract the direct costs, which is basically the delivery of your contract. Ideally, you should have an operating margin of 50%, which means if you sold a contract for $10,000, you should have $5,000 left over after paying the expenses for that contract. Another formula that's important is called average contract fee. When you take a look at the total revenue you generated and you divide it by the total number of contracts, that tells you on an average what you are getting per contract. Ideally, that number should be $5,000 or more. Some organizations can't generate that level of average fee, but what we do know is that it takes as much energy to support a $1,200 contract as it does a $12,000 contract. So if you're doing $1,200 contracts, you got to do 10 of them to get 12,000, which takes a lot of energy and a lot of time. Another important one's lead to contract ratio. Here we're taking a look at the number of leads it takes to get a contract. A lead is basically a company that has shown interest, asked for a proposal, etc. What we find in our research is that lead to contract ratio is 4-to-1. For every 4 good leads, you're going to get 1 contract. Now, pricing is we're taking a look at making sure we're getting the best price so that ultimately our finances are going to be as strong as they can. And contract training is pretty simple. You take your production costs, whatever the delivery is, and you divide it by what you want production to be as a percentage of the revenue generated. So, for example, if your production costs are $4,000 and you want production costs to be 40%, then that means the price needs to be $10,000. 4,000 divided by 40%, 0.4. Now, you may be able to charge a lot more. If you have to charge less, you're probably going to have to cut some of your expenses, but at least that gives you a starting number with regards to what you probably don't want to charge less than unless you can reduce your costs. Some interesting numbers are what percentage of your business should come from repeat business, what should come from referral, and what should come from cold call or lead generation. At LERN, we would say repeat business 50%, referral 25%, and then cold call or lead generation 25%. The more time and energy you have to put into lead or cold call business, the less business you're going to do because it takes 9 to 12 months to close a new client for the first time. So the better your repeat rate, the better your referral rate, normally the better you do at the bottom line. And then the last one is what numbers should you look at quarterly? Every quarter as a team, you should take a look at total income that was generated that quarter. That would be sales that you generated. What your operating margin was that quarter for the contracts that you delivered. How many contracts you actually sold. And then that'll allow you to figure out your average contract fee, which is another number you should look at. And then how many leads you generated. And then if you know, again, how many contracts you sold, you can figure out your lead to contract ratio. So that would be a quarterly scorecard, which would be great to look at. So that's some of the numbers. Certainly there's more, but if you lean on LERN for contract training information that works, you'll get as much of that information as you need. Thanks.